Hello and welcome to First Impressions. This is a show where my co-host Dash Hooper and I evaluate a new album each week with a few simple ground rules. First, must be an album we've never heard before. Second, we're only allowed to play it once. After that, we take our notes, then we play it again and again and rate it in a variety of categories. And today, we're going to be looking at the seminal album Highway 61 Revisited, the 1965 album by Bob Dylan. So, Dash, how's it going today?
Oh, good. I hope I can get through this show without any internet connections problems, but I'm doing good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. It's been crazy. Had a pipe burst earlier today, and that always makes your day a different version of it than you were actually wanting to see. And I'm still working on taking classes through the district to get a raise. And the class I was taking when the pipe burst was how to de-stress in your life. I'm like, well, that's certainly not the way to have a fucking pipe burst. That is not the way to de-stress in your life. So the training failed, but I'm here. I made it. But I just laugh at the irony of the video about de-stressing comes up when I hear water flowing from my front yard. So, hey, timing's everything. All right, so we are
The
digging
timing
into
is
Bob
everything.
Dylan today. Yeah, you were saying that Bruce Springsteen was the poor man's Bob Dylan when we did him, but I don't know how the rich man's Bob Dylan's going to stack up with us. So we'll see. See where we stand on this one. I got notes. I was looking at them right now, and it's 12 pages, so a lot of things to say. We'll see where we fall when everything comes to the end. But we always start off with a history of the artist, and this is definitely the Cliff Notes version of his history. I mean, you can read multiple books about Bob Dylan if you so desire, but for now, we're going to give you the small, minute version gathered from tiny bits of the internet. I've never read a book about him. I know of him, but who doesn't? So, Bob Dylan, and it just did a giant jump. Sorry about that. Bob Dylan was born
Yeah.
Robert Zimmerman in 1941 in Minnesota, and he's an iconic singer and songwriter and one of the most
That's been
influential
the
figures in popular music. What's that?
I said that's been the internet all week for me. So
Okay. Well, we'll see. Hopefully you get through, and hopefully I don't get a ring on my doorbell from someone else telling me that I have a leak in the yard. So we'll cross our fingers that fate leaves us alone for this episode. All right. So he emerged in the 1960s as a folk musician in New York's Greenwich Village, and he gained fame for socially conscious songs like Blowing in the Wind and The Times They Are Changing. And in 1965, and this is the album we're going to be talking about, he went electric and he pissed off the purist, the folk purist. I watched the movie on the airplane, so I mean, I guess I know a little bit more, but the folk purists were not having it. They threw things at him. They booed him. They were, I mean, who knew folk people were as angry as punk rockers? I never knew, but I learned it by watching the movie. And it's a movie, so take it with a grain of salt. How much of it is reality and how much of it is, blown up for movie reality. But I know it did irritate the masses. So that album that we're going to be talking about, it kind of transformed his career, moved him into more of a popular music place. And then through the decades, he experimented in different genres. He's done country, gospel, blues. You hear a lot of the blues when you listen to the album we're talking about today. He wrote complex poetic lyrics, sometimes indecipherable. It reminds me of reading T.S. Eliot when I had to read him in college. I'm like, dude, just make sense. I'm too tired to make sense of what you're trying to say. But we'll save that for later. And then he's won numerous awards. He won a Nobel Prize in 2016 for his songwriting. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1988 by the poor man's version of him, Bruce Springsteen. And he's won 10 Grammy Awards and been nominated 38 times. So he's still active. He's still recording, still touring. I don't even know how many albums he's released overall. It's a large amount. And he's still out there doing his thing. So that's kind of the the Cliff Notes version of Bob Dylan's history. Now let's dig into the album that we're going to be looking at, the album itself. That is Highway 61 Revisited. So let's talk about that one. So it was early 1965, and Bob Dylan was kind of getting tired of the protest folk and decided that he wanted to release an all electric album because he did release a half electric album with Bringing It All Back, but this was his first complete electric album that he released on August 30th, 1965, and it changed his career. It changed popular music. Rolling Stone magazine wouldn't exist without it. I mean, it might, it just would have a different name. The Rolling Stones, named after this as well. So he was tired of the folk scene and he wanted to write more surreal, personal, and abstract lyrics. And he was also kind of discovering blues rock and symbolic poetry. So he wanted to kind of combine those together. And that's what he did with this album. So over the course of 6 days in July and August, they recorded this album at Studio A in New York City. And of course, this was after people threw shit at him at the folk festival. Angry folksters, don't mess with them, apparently. So this was slightly after that. I guess the bottles didn't scare him. He's like, you know what? Let's go. I'm going to record all electric and fuck you all. So yes, the folk people, they battled. It was amazing. At least in the movie. I don't know. Being there would have been interesting because it's like, man, they're all sitting in lawn chairs, peacefully vibing, beatnik style. Then all of a sudden, like, wait, an electric guitar, kill him. So the key musicians on this were Mike Bloomfield. He did electric guitar. He was known for his blues, and that's why he was brought in. Al Cooper played the organ, and he was the one that made that opening riff for Like a Rolling Stone. He just kind of improvised it, and it became one of the most distinct riffs that exists. And then Harvey Brooks was on bass, Bobby Gregg was on drums, and then they brought in other session ones, and Bob Dylan, of course, playing acoustic guitar and harmonica. And I don't know, we'll talk about harmonica later, but for now, we'll talk about it was produced by Tom Wilson
Yeah.
and did work on the previous works as well. And the sessions were characterized by spontaneity, where Dylan just instructed the musicians on the spot, and he wanted feeling and vibes over perfection. And yep, that's true. There's a lot of feeling and vibes over, crisp studio perfection. So take that what you will. I guess I'm sure we'll discuss it later when we start digging into everything. Was it great to go with pure vibes and not think about getting that clean take? That answer lies with you. And this album sits right now at number 4 on Rolling Stone's top 100 or no, top 500 albums of all time. You wonder though, is it so high because the song on it is what they're named after? They're like, oh, we better put it in the top 5, or our album's a whole, or our magazine is a farce. But I don't know. We'll dig in. We'll see. We'll see if we get Kate Bushed on this one and people come for our heads like we're gonna be attacked like we just plugged in electric at a folk festival. We'll see. All right, so reviews for the album.
For real.
Like any 1965 album, it's hard to find the real-time reviews that were written, because when you search, you of course find the reviews that they've done recently, those ones that they now proclaim it, the god of albums. But what did they say in real time? And from what I gathered from the research that I did, the reviews were overwhelmingly positive. There were people, the traditional folk people still were, they were still wielding the pitchforks and ready to get Bob Dylan's blood. But in general, it was well received. It was very strong reviews. So Billboard, one of the ones that I did find, They praised it as a strong album with impact, with its lyrics and its music. The Village Voice thought that Dylan's lyrical sophistication had made a bold leap with his moving into electric rock, and there were only I could only find I couldn't find any of the negative reviews online. I searched and searched, but there were those the folk purist, of course, that we know had wanted nothing to do with it, but there were some that thought it was a bit too esoteric and too difficult to understand. That was kind of the critical parts that I found with it. It did well commercially. It peaked at number 3, and I believe there's finding the numbers because they didn't keep track of album sales the same way either. In modern times, since they started keeping track, it has gone platinum. It's sold over 1 million, but what its actual numbers are, who knows? Because when it was released, they weren't keeping track the same way that they do now. So it was exciting and controversial. And, like I said, it's heralded now as one of the most influential albums of all time. Number 4. I don't know what number 1 is. I'm guessing the Beatles. That's my best guess of what would be number 1 on the Rolling Stone Top 500. But I guess I have the internet, so let's see the top 500 albums. Number 1. Number 1
yeah,
is.
I guess I'm gonna have some. I'm gonna have some different opinions on what Rolling Stone has to say. Well, we'll get
Yeah,
into it, but
yeah, they have it at number 4. I'm trying to find out what number 1 is, but they're not making it easy for me. Make the whole list start at number 500. So here we go. Number 1 was, let's see, going down there. Yeah, because I'm just curious what they thought. I mean, there's a lot behind it, obviously. 400 plus albums that sit below it, but what sits above it? Let's take a look here.
yeah, you got to go. Rolling Stone does it backwards, so it's hard to.
Yeah, they're not making it easy. And of course, I could have researched this, but as I said, my yard decided to attack me this today, so my normal set of research isn't all there. But here we go. Number 1. Oh, I should know. It was Marvin Gaye's "What's Going On." We talked about it when we were evaluating the album. Number 2 ahead of it is the Beach Boys' "Pet Sounds," which we will be covering in a couple weeks. So if you tuned in today looking for us to be talking about Pet Sounds, our guest had a conflict, so he wasn't able to make it. So we'll be talking about it later, I think in August. So we kind of have guests lined up between then. So we will get to the number 2 album of all time. So that'll put us having covered number 1 and number 2. Number 3 is Joni Mitchell "Blue," which, you know what? I've never heard that album. Maybe we can throw it in and do the whole top 5. Number 4, Stevie Wonder "Songs in the Key of Life." So I guess they've reshuffled the list. So it's not there anymore. 5 is Beatles' "Abbey Road." 6 is Nevermind. So it is changed. It was number 4 originally. So now it's farther down the list. And they actually put another Bob Dylan album above it. So they have revised the list. It was number 4. Now it's somewhere on there, but I'm not going to search. I just wanted to see what was above it. But we know now it's no longer number 4. And I think that's probably a wise choice. I wouldn't say it's the 4th best album of all time, but it's somewhere in there now. I just didn't see it. So if you do know, if you're out there and you have more time to Google, and I don't want to halt the show to Google what it is, drop it in the comments. Let us know, where does it rank on the list now when it was at first a number 4. So reviews were strong. Now let's talk about our history. So what's your history with Bob Dylan?
I mean, in my history basically is just what probably majority of everybody's history Are the World and that video and songs like that. But I have never listened to a complete and full album of any of Bob Dylan's.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I'm not a huge, or not that I'm not a fan, or I'm just not that big of a fan of Bob Dylan.
Mm-hmm.
But this was the very first album of Bob Dylan's that I've actually sat and listened to, uh, cover to cover, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's basically my history. Just knowing he was around and doing certain projects and things like that. But just I no, and that tells you how much I feel about. If I called Bruce Springsteen the poor man's Bob Dylan, that can tell you what I history with Bob Dylan.
Yeah, I'd say so. And this, I would say the same thing for me. This is definitely the first Bob Dylan album I've listened to from start to finish. I mean, you know him. It's impossible not to know him. He's been around forever. He's been singing big important songs. At least that's what they tell us we're supposed to think. And now I found it when you were talking about that. It's now sitting at number 18. So it's been bumped down from its number 4 spot, but still very high up in the best albums of all time. And yeah, I mean, you can't help but know Bob Dylan, know some of his songs because they get played on the classic rock station. So it's inevitable. You're going to hear them. And Madness Entertainment Group, how's it going tonight? They were listening with me. We did our live stream of the album on Pilled, and yes, they got to listen along. So you might have opinions too. Let us know when we get to talking about the album. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. My history. It's impossible not to know Bob Dylan, not to know his songs. But like you, I
Yeah, I'm
never
curious if Pop's
listened to a whole album. Yeah, where's Pop's gonna land on this one? I am curious too. We'll find out. I guess he never holds back. He'll let us know in the comments. All right. So
That's what I want to know.
overall thoughts. What are your overall thoughts with this album? Looks like he's frozen. So I'll start with mine.
Frozen again.
Yeah. So I'll start with mine. You got frozen. So my overall thoughts. You're gonna have to bear with me. There's a theory I read online about black licorice. I hate this stuff, but they say if you consume it every day, you'll first stop noticing the bitterness and you'll start to notice the subtle flavors that hide in black licorice. Well, to me, Bob Dylan is black licorice. I can hear it. I know there's good stuff in there and a lot of people like it, but when I eat it, it's just bitter, it's shrill, it's half the time out of tune. It's that harmonica pierces my brain. It's too high pitched. It could have been recorded better, but maybe if I ate it every day and I kept listening to the album, he would grow on me black licorice style and I'd be like, you know what? I was wrong. Now that I've eaten or listened to Bob Dylan's album every single day, I now believe him to be a genius. But right now, he's black licorice. I can't get past the sour taste that he creates, and that's his voice. It is hard to stomach. My wife was on the couch listening with me. She put on the headphones, her own headphones, and listened to her own music. She's like, I can't take anymore. It is nails on a chalkboard. And it is. It is a difficult voice. But there's things I did like on the album. I guess now that I played it multiple times, gave it the running test, everything, I have good things to say, but he's definitely black licorice artist. You gotta battle to get through and actually enjoy what lies beneath. So here you go. Starting off with a couch metaphor. What's your overall thoughts on this one? Oh, looks like we've lost him again.
Oh man.
All right, go for it.
No, I'm here. I'm here if you can hear me.
I can, yeah.
Listen, this I like the start. It started off great with, yeah, it started off great, but the end song, let me that what is it? The
Desolation Row.
uh was it no? What is the end? Is it yeah, Desolation
Desolation
Road?
Row.
My goodness, that was 30 minutes too long. 30 minutes. Yeah, 30,
Yeah, that song, that's a 12
it was
minute
so long,
closer.
and it did not need to be. Yeah,
Yeah, when we get to the skips, I we
it
can
just
talk about that one for sure.
this album felt safe, and what I mean by safe is like there's good songs. You're going to hear songs on the the radio. You're going to. Yeah, we're you're. I'm coming in so. uh I'm so delayed on this. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. This is not usually how this happens. I'm very delayed for some reason tonight.
Yeah.
But this album was what I mean by safe is it it just it was there. It wasn't like there was nothing groundbreaking to me. I know what the folk purists are saying, and they're mad, and some people call it groundbreaking. There was just nothing really just out to me and said this is great. Like the only reason that this is on the top 18 now, the only reason it's top 18 is because the name Rolling Stones mentioned in it. But I mean, that's a great song. But there was times that I found myself just out. I like your licorice metaphor, and just it was a safe album. I wouldn't call this life changing to me. I don't know, and maybe that's because I'm not a Bob Dylan fan, but nothing was life changing. Nothing said, God, this was the best album of all time. And we've listened to, like we said, we've listened to Marvin Gaye, we've listened to Beach Boys, we've listened to Beastie Boys, we've listened to a lot of great albums, and this one just didn't cut the cake for me as far as groundbreaking.
Yeah, and I would agree. It's it was very high on the list. Now it's been taken over by Stevie Wonder, and we both raved about the Stevie Wonder album, and that's now the number 4. So I'm thinking, okay, that's a more worthy number 4, because I'm sure it was on the list before and got moved up. So good for that, because that album has a lot more depth and a lot more complexity going on. This one, I mean, we can start it right now. It has some songs. I'm not going to say it doesn't have songs that I enjoyed. And now I think, honestly, I think this one I've only listened to about 4 times. I gave it its initial listen sitting on the couch, jostled all my notes, gave it the run test. And yeah, actually, it's upbeat enough till you get to Desolation Row. Oh, man. Try running to that meandering 12 minutes of nothing. That is not a great running song, but the rest of it, it's functional enough. There's a couple songs that irritate me, but we'll get to that when we get to our skips. This is not going to be a skip-free album. So, yeah, my first and best song has to be Like a Rolling Stone. It's one of those, it's a classic for a reason. It is just a perfect song from Bob Dylan. It's got straight ahead lyrics. I mean, it actually makes sense. Some of this is so it's almost like he's trying to be confusing to the masses. Like, I'll show them, they won't understand what I'm saying, because all those folk songs were straight ahead protest songs. Now he's like, no, I'm going to talk about some random shit that no one knows, and I'm now laughing, but yeah, laughing at us for 12 minutes. That's what I was when we were doing the live stream. I said, don't get excited, we're on the last song, but we still got 12 minutes to go. It's not coming, we're not getting off easy. So yeah, it's a great song. It's got great lyrics, and you know why it's a rock classic. And I love knowing that little organ riff in the beginning was just kind of improvised, and now it's become, excuse me, Excuse me. Sorry. It's become a rock staple. So yeah, gotta love that one. So that's one of mine. I'll go to my next one. Well, I'll let you tell us one of your favorites first.
I mean, I agree with you on like a Rolling Stone. I liked the title album or the title song for the album, Highway 61 Revisited. I just thought that was a decent song. I like the lyrics were very catchy. I think so. I'll probably go with 61 Revisited as my second favorite song because I'm right up there with you with Stone.
Okay. So yeah, my second favorite one is the track number 2. It's not that I love it. Tombstone Blues. I just felt like the band was really smoking on this one. They're just on fire. But to me, when I listen to the song, it feels kind of fractured,
Oh yeah,
where it feels like there's a random dude who's ending the open mic at some poetry club filled with beatniks. And he's up there just doing his thing. And there's a blues band behind him. They're setting up. And they hear him, they feel his vibe, and they start jamming. It's not quite tuned right. They're not quite synced yet, but they got some vibes, and it's solid jam, just a disconnected jam. So it feels like blues band setting up for the evening festivities while the beatnik poetry guy finishes up his last thing and they jam together for a few minutes. That's Tombstone Blues to me. It's not a perfect track, but the vibes work when you think of it like, I guess, I don't know. We had Swamp Blues. Like this would be coffee
yeah,
shop blues. It's a new category
yeah.
for our ever growing category of weird blues tracks. But I mean, I like the vibes. I like the band. Lyrically, it's kind of like, but yeah, it works. It's our new coffee house blues because beatnik dude doing his thing while the blues band tunes up and they jam for like a little bit. But I think so many songs on this album go on too long. There are so many pushing 5 and 6 minute songs that would have been really good, tight 3 minute songs. And they just kind of meander and spin their wheels. And that's what I feel a lot is happening on this album is just a lot of wheel spinning, a lot of we're not going to ever lock you into a tight and beautiful groove. We're just going to keep going and
Yeah.
going. We're going to keep spitting lyrics. It's like, all right, enough already. You made your point. Even one of the other songs that I liked, well, when we talk about that, it's just they tend to wear out their welcome, in my opinion. All right, so
Yeah, I also liked Ballad of a Thin. I got one more
yeah,
there. Ballad of a Thin Man. Mr. Jones songs. I liked it. Mr. Jones. I just thought that was a really smoothness of the song and just the we'll get into it in lyrics, but I just
yeah,
there were there was like two songs in a row. It was Mr. Jones and then the Queen song. That's how
yeah.
I remembered them back to back because it was
Mm-hmm.
like you got Mr. Jones and then the Queen. So I really love Mr. Jones or Ballad of a Thin Man. I just thought it was
Yeah.
when I was walking to that song, that one was one that just kind of me moving a little bit further on my walk a little bit faster because I just was enjoying that song. So yeah.
Yeah, that was one of my picks as well. I like that it has kind of a different tone because he's going for kind of his bar his coffee house blues for
Yeah.
most of the album, and that one has kind of that dark and ominous piano going, and it's essentially just him shit talking about Mr. Jones for 6 minutes. It's like, all right, Mr. Jones, I'm gonna tell you why you suck, but I'm gonna do it for 6 straight minutes,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna decimate you. It's kind of like when Taylor Swift gets angry. You don't want to
Yeah.
mess with those people that are poetic. They will destroy you. And Bob Dylan, like 6 minute takedown of poor Mr. Jones. I mean, I don't know. He might be a dick, but damn, Bob Dylan destroys him. And I like that one. That was definitely one of my picks as well. And then just like Tom
Yeah.
Thumb's Blues, I put that one as well. because I like that it's kind of a piano led track. It needs a
Yes.
break from the coffee house blues vibe, and it kind of breaks it up with that one, and it's kind of talking about the crazy misadventures of the protagonist of the song, because he's not Bruce Springsteen is always I. He's telling the songs as if he's living them, where Bob Dylan is more third person. He's watching someone, and he's watching, I don't know who the protagonist is, Tom Thumb, who knows, but yeah, he's just having this rough, wild adventure. And in the end, he's like, screw it, I'm going back to New York. So I liked that one. It kind of had a different vibe. That was one that even April kind of peeked the headphones down, like, oh, this sounds different, because it does kind of begin to all meld together into one kind of blawish coffee house blues jam. All right, so let's dig into our favorite lyrics on this one. So, any lyrics stand out to you on this one? And that's one thing that there's plenty to pick from, is strong lyrics on a Bob Dylan album.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to go with, you were just talking about Tom Thumb. I started out on Burgundy, but soon hit the harder stuff. Everybody said they're stand behind me when their game got rough. Yeah, listen, I just, that was one of the, like you put songs on the album, and I really enjoyed the lyrics. That was my favorite. I mean, just I vibe with it. I understand where he's coming from. You know, you start with something smaller, and you hit the heavier stuff later on in your life. So I vibed with that one very much.
Yeah. I had some lyrics from that one as well, where he's sweet Melinda, the peasants call her the goddess of gloom. She speaks good English, and she invites you up to her into her room, and you're so kind and careful not to
Off
go to her
or
too
frozen
soon.
or
Oh, let me see. Oh, all right. So I think I'm good. And so where were we? And she takes your voice and leaves you howling at the moon. So there's our poetic, horny lyrics from Bob Dylan. He's howling. He can't speak anymore. He has had this great one night stand with, what is her name? Sweet Melinda. So yeah, I liked that one. I thought that was some good lyrics. But I mean, it's loaded with good lyrics. I mean, it's poetry put to song, and that's, you're going to have a lot of great lyrics, but a lot of times it feels too much poetry, where there's not a good chorus, there's not a hook, because he's just spitting lyrics. And that's, where I think its shortcomings are, is just
yeah.
it's too lyrically dense, and it could use an editor. And it feels like, almost like the producer was sitting in the studio like this big yes man, like, "Ooh yeah, you want to do that? That's a good idea. Why, we don't need to tune our instruments, just start playing. Get
Yeah.
the vibes going." It's like, no, dude, it's okay to tell him that you need to modify and change. Your job as a producer is to make the album better, not just be a little sycophant saying that everything you do is brilliant. You're the most genius person I've ever met. You do that, that's going to be amazing. And the fact that the song's out of tune, that's a statement. It's like, nope, it's just an out of tune guitar. It's saying tune your instruments better.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see. I'm gonna grab
Yeah.
another lyric. If you have any other lyrics, let me know, Dash.
Yeah, I got. Let me do Mr. Joe. I mean, you called it right. It's just a basic, and I love Mr. Jones, and I love that he's just beating him up, and he's just like, because something is happening here, but you don't know what it is, do you, Mr. Jones? I
Yeah.
mean, it's just a takedown track or whatever you want to
Mm-hmm.
call it. But
Diss
I
track.
loved. Uh, Listen, Bob just ragged on Mr. Jones for 6 solid minutes, and it
Yep.
was funny. And it was. It's not like it's a really, really, really upbeat song, but it's funny and it just
Mhm.
it just made me laugh, and I thought it was a great song. Yeah, and the lyrics
Yeah.
were perfect.
Yeah, I liked that one too. Let me see. I think I grabbed some lyrics from that one as well. And that is yeah, you hand in your ticket and you go watch the geek who immediately walks up to you when he hears you speak and says, "How does it feel to be such a freak?" And you say, "Impossible," as he hands you a bone. So it's like the geek, I'm guessing that's, one of the carnival
Oh,
freaks or something like that. And he's saying, "How do you feel being such a freak?" So even the geeks talking a little bit of shit. So yes, it's Bob Dylan's diss track, and if you are the real Mr. Jones, you just, oh man, you're just gonna crawl into a hole and disappear for a while. All right, so let's see. I had another lyric that grabbed me on this one was when it was let's see, Tombstone Blues. So that's our um, definitely jamming in the coffee house kind of song. So saying death to all those who whimper and cry, and dropping a barbell, he points to the sky, saying the sun's not yellow, it's chicken. I'm like, all right, if anyone who's an 80s child like us does not immediately think of Marty McFly when you hear that line, I don't know. That's the first thing I said. Nobody calls me chicken, and the sun's gonna yell at Bob Dylan. So yeah, that's what popped in my head with that one. And it's kind of contextually, it makes no sense in the song. It's just like, all right, I'm just gonna say this. It's a cool little line, but what's its point? I don't know. But it just made me think of Marty McFly, so it made me laugh when I heard that one. All right. So
Marty McFly, yeah,
any other
yeah,
lyrics you want to talk about before we move on to our next
that's exactly what
category?
I thought. Marty McFly.
Yep. It's like it's not yellow, it's chicken because nobody calls Marty yellow or chicken. You don't call him either one. He's gonna get pissed. He's gonna do something stupid and fly off the handle.
Nah, we'll push on.
All right, so let's get into skip this one. So, any ones you would want to skip on this album?
Oh, let's see where who am I? Cry. Just not one of my favorite songs. And then I I like Desolation Row for about the first minute. Too long, way too long of a song,
Yeah,
and I think the harmonica finally did it in for me on that song. Um,
yeah,
so, and after a while, I just lost interest in the song. So those are my two skips.
yeah.
Desolation Row.
And what was your first one? Because it broke up during that. When he gets back, he'll let us know. So yeah, Desolation Row. Let's talk about Desolation Row because that's definitely
Man,
on my skip list. All right. So what was your first one? All right. But when we wait for him to catch up, let's talk about Desolation Row. So
you,
it is
you got
over 11 minutes,
you.
as I was saying, and it's got a lot of lyrics. It's talking about this person and that person, and he's name dropping a lot of pop culture references. It's kind of the pop culture references from the 60s. He's naming authors, he's naming Cinderella, he's naming everyone in the kitchen sink because he's going on and on and on. It's just, it feels like a never ending song. It's 12 minutes. It's got this kind of gentle guitar that's going behind it. Almost makes me feel like I'm about to get on Pirates of the Caribbean or something. And it's kind of the gentle, soothing guitar as he meanders and meanders for 11 plus minutes. and it's just okay. There's great lyrics. They're hiding in there. They're selling postcards to the hanging. They're painting their passports black. I like it. I like the lyrics. There's good lyrics. I could go through the whole song and I could pick out so many strong lyrics. But those strong lyrics could have been trimmed down to a good song. And the version, I don't know if you've heard this version before. There's a version by My Chemical Romance that was recorded for the Watchmen movie. And they shrink the song down to 3 minutes, keeping the best parts, and make it kind of a cool, upbeat rocker that's a nice, quick, tight 3 minutes. And you know, okay, there's enough good in this long, worn out song to make one good song, or make maybe 20 good songs, but as one solo track, it's too much. So look for the My Chemical Romance one. It's actually really good. It was in the Watchmen movie. They used the same lyrics. They just hugely condense them and pull out the best of what's there and give you a 3-minute version instead of the nearly 12-minute. And it's a stronger track for that. So I look at that and think, okay, My Chemical Romance was able to pick out, weed through, and make one good track out of the long meandering version that exists. And you know why they're not going to put that in the Watchmen movie. They don't have 12 minutes of film to let it roll through. We'll go through their entire credit scene if they let it be there. So there's a better version. Look for that. And I think that's one of the things that I think about when I listen to Bob Dylan is he's so much better when someone's covering him and I don't have to listen to him sing it. So let's see if there's any other skips. My other skip was one of Dash's songs that he liked, and my reasoning is small. It's futile.
Yeah. You got me back yet? You got?
Yep, we can hear you. Yeah, technical difficulties are the worst. Nothing you can do. When they happen, they happen. But yeah, my other
I totally agree with your.
Okay, go ahead.
I totally agree with your breakdown of 100% why I'm skipping it as well.
Yeah, it is just it's too long, but there's good in there. It's lyrically, it's so dense lyrically that there's just a million things going on in it, and a million too many if you ask me. But like I said, My Chemical Romance was able to pick clean a good version of it that's merciful for 3 minutes long. So my other skip track was Highway 61 Revisited. And like I was saying, my reasons are small. I hate that stupid whistle thing. It makes me mental. I hear that and I'm like, are you trying to be whimsical? Or did you let your fucking 3-year-old sneak into the studio and he started blowing that thing and the band started getting pissed, but you're like, no, the vibes. And you let it keep it in there. It's like that. Ugh, it's worse than the harmonica. And I don't like the harmonica. So that stupid whistle thing, it just felt like a 3-year-old stuck in and started blowing on it. And Bob Dylan was like, vibes, keep it. Because everything was improvised. So I'm like, oh, it could have been. But the movie at least showed him buying it on the street and maybe he thought it was whimsical, but then it's kind of juxtaposition to the lyrics that aren't whimsical, but maybe that's what he was going for. He's Mr. Poet, so he's gonna try to juxtapose the dark lyrical content with a whimsical, stupid whistle thing. But that's just my opinion. I know otherwise the song's fine. If I could go through, I'll drop it into my SoundForge and just remove the whistle, and I'll pull out a perfectly good song without the dumb kid whistle. All right, so any other songs? I know you had your two skips. I have mine, and now go ahead. Yeah. So let's talk about now. What are we?
No, I was right with you. You did everything that I just say perfectly with that. So yeah, nailed it.
All right. Well, so it sounds like we're gonna depends on where we're gonna go. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna keep this one or return it to the used bin?
Oh, I know Bob Dylan purists are going to be mad at me, and they're going to come. They're going to come for me probably. I'm returning this. I could see why people like it, but at the end of the day, this album is not songs that come on the radio. But I don't need the entire album. I just don't. I don't need to revisit it at all. So I'm returning it.
Yeah. I am right there with you. I mean, it's one of those things. I bought it. They're not going to let me send it back. I'm stuck with it. But am I going to ever reach for it? Like, ooh, you know what I need to listen to right now? Bob Dylan. No, I'm not. It's not going to be a go-to album I reach for. I mean, I can appreciate it for what it is, a black licorice album, but I stopped eating black licorice because that shit's gross. And this album, I'm not going to force myself to like it because you know what? I'm not a rock critic. They don't pay me to do that. I don't have to. I don't have to fawn over albums because they say I should. If I love it, I love it. I mean, you've seen when I love an album. I don't hold back. When I don't like an album, I'm not going to pretend because I'm not good at that. You'd read me. I fail at poker. You can't send me to Vegas. I will get destroyed because my poker face is non-existent. So where I stand with this, the songs I like, sure, I'll keep it for those ones. But am I ever going to reach for it? I have an expansive collection of vinyl, and this would be like the very, very, very last one I would reach for. And my wife's got a collection of Barry Manilow, and shit, I'll reach for that first. And that's saying something. That's what she listens to on her own. And if she weren't working right now, she'd probably be giving it to me, but that's okay. I'm safe for the moment. All right. So we're returning it. I'm keeping it because I'm stuck with it. Maybe I'll pop on like a Rolling Stone once in a while, then take the needle off. And this one is definitely one I will put the effort in to jump that needle around and get rid of songs because there's some I can't stand them. I cannot stomach listening to them. So it'd be like skip, skip. But the good news is my Spotify is going to think I'm a Bob Dylan fanatic because I've been playing it so much over the last couple of days. So it's going to keep popping up on my list. Like,
yeah,
maybe it'll walk Juan S off. I don't know because it just thinks I'm really deeply into Juan S still. It's like here's something you've been vibing with because I like the little DJ feature, but yeah, it's very confused because I think I broke its brain with this show.
yeah.
All right, so next week we got nothing. Next week I will be heading down to San Diego for San Diego Comic-Con. Gonna try to figure out a way to live stream the panel that I'll be on Friday. So I'm going to be on a panel Friday. I can give you the actual details now because the flyer's out and we're allowed to kind of disclose everything about it. So next Friday, not 2 days from now, next Friday, I'll be on the Writing for Indie Comics panel, July 25th at 2 o'clock in the Omni Grand Ballroom, which is across the street from the convention center. And if you are in the San Diego area, if you are going to San Diego Comic-Con, please do drop by. And we have a great panel with some amazing speakers. And if you come in and you ask a question, you will get a free bag of comic books. So if you're in the area, please tune in. We're going to try to record it for Madness. I'm going to try to have my daughter record the panel and put it up live. And I'll also be doing some booth check-ins next week from all the different toy companies because Dash and I have talked about it. We're both huge toy collectors. You can kind of see the Transformers above my head, the zombies over on that shelf, and we're both huge toy guys. So I'm going to be stopping by Hasbro and Mattel and NECA and Mezco, and I'm going to be touring the booths, Mondo, showing what they have coming up. So tune in. I'll be dropping lots of little shorts and lives straight from San Diego Comic-Con next week. So even though I won't be doing a show next week, you'll see me all throughout the week putting lots of cool stuff and talking about what's there. For the people that can't attend, you want to see what cool action figures are coming out, I'll be there doing the tour, and hopefully next Friday broadcasting our panel. So also this Friday, I'll be launching live with Lori and with Sarah for Immortal Era 11. So it'll be dropping, and if you back my book, Lori's book, and Sarah's, you get two kind of cool additional items. So you'll get a foil card or a metal card, and you'll get a sticker. And Sarah's doing a bunch of stickers for her campaign, and you'll get this sticker, and they're fruit cats or produce cats, but she got a rotting avocado to match with our book, since the vibe of both our books is death. Well, not really death, eternal life, and lots of gross. So she picked a rotting avocado. And tune in Friday. That will be at 6 Eastern. And Lori will be launching first, then I'll be launching, and then Sarah after that. So tune in for that. But in 2 weeks, we'll be joined actually by Lori, and we'll be talking about Villains by Queens of the Stone Age. So I'm excited to talk about this one, the one Queens of the Stone Age album I didn't know. Like I said, I'll explain exactly why once we're on the show, but we'll be joined by Lori. We'll see what she thinks of it. We'll see what everyone else thinks. But until then, make sure I'm going to actually put the link in real quick. So if you're able to follow my Kickstarter, it launches in a couple days, and those follows are always appreciated. So let me drop that into the chat and drop a follow, because it costs you nothing. You don't have to back the book, but if you hit that follow button, it costs you nothing, and you can help support the book, get it boosted up into the algorithm, and then all three of us are going to launch, and it's going to be fun. And we're going to have actually a artist is going to come in, he's going to live draw, and we're going to be giving that away to the first 48-hour backers. Anyone who backs physical in the first 48 hours gets a chance to win it. So lots of exciting stuff coming up this week and next. And until then, we will see you next week, and tune in Friday, and then Saturday we'll have Saturday morning comic talk as well. So tune in then, and then next week, live shots from San Diego Comic-Con, and have a great week. We'll see you on Friday.